Okay. John, moving on to the Joseph Sunde Memorial and the Anthony Spurgeon Memorial. Fingers crossed this Tuesday coming.
Yeah, certainly. Big fingers crossed. Because we're starting to get to the end of the season. I'm sure we'll be fine.
John, supposed to be on the 22nd of February. Let's take to the 1st of March, and it's a special date.
It is a special day. It's Joseph's, would have been Joseph's 33rd birthday. So a very special occasion. And let's just hope, fingers crossed, that it all works out weather-wise, because it is a great night at Heffron. And also I wanted to mention that this year, we're going to have the race televised by our good friend Chris Knuzinoff, who runs a TV production company. So Chris is all revved up and on standby to come down next Tuesday and film the event.
That's going to be crazy. So everybody loves Heffron. We've got the start list here, John, and we've got the Anthony Spurgeon Memorial. B grade, the top end B graders are invited into the Joseph Sunde. Is that correct?
Yes, and about 4 or 5 of them took the opportunity to accept that offer. And you can see their names there. They kind of stand out from the bottom. Ben Treble, Phil Tafe, who's been doing really well. Heffron's not a circuit that necessarily suits him, but still gets around okay. And I'm sure he'll be able to finish that race. Alan Smith from Randwick. Who else we got there? Steve Mayers, who's from Centennial Park Cycling. He's had a great season and done very well in other events over summer. Alex Galea, if he can just calm down and focus on what he needs to do, he should be able to get through that. So those guys are, Josh Currell from Manly and Connor Butterfield. Connor this will be his 3rd race at Heffron on a Tuesday night, but he's performed, as someone who hasn't raced on a Tuesday night, performed really well. And
Kevin Berkeley as well, Parramatta.
Yeah, Kevin's he won A grade on Saturday down at Heffron, so no surprise to see Kevin there. He hasn't been here this year, so looking forward to see him come down and try his hand. I just hope he rides with a little bit more etiquette this year than he did last year.
Okay, look, he's a prolific winner Marconi Way, Penrith Way, and he's the state champion of his age category, Masters as well. So he should have a little bit of fun. Look, there's no doubt that's a short list. Chris Miller's there, that's great, but it is a short list of A graders.
It is, and I think a bit of that was the close-up on Tuesday before it rained. So this list here, yet to enter, come on, guys, where are you? Tom Bolton, because I think Tom Bolton's a big chance for this event. Chris Hagman,
Zach Marshall. Did you see he stomped it in the Melbourne Warrnambool?
He certainly did. So maybe that's why he didn't enter. He was too tired from the weekend to race on Tuesday. Yeah. So hoping he's come right. Well, just above Zach Marshall's name is little Willie Heffernan. So Will is down as an A grade invitee. Well, no, he's in A grade now because he's on that stage at Tour of Gippsland. And he's been very, very chirpy about, can I race A grade? Can I race A grade? Well, here's your chance, Will. Enter.
That was your best impersonation of Will Heffernan. Can I race A grade? Is that it, John?
No, I get a lot of that. Can I? Actually, there's another warning participant, Malachi. Where are you, Malachi? Come on, come in.
Okay.
Actually, there's someone else on that list that's in the same boat and deserves a mention as Tom Bolton. That's Marcus Cooley. Because unfortunately, Marcus, having recently retired from pro racing, has now almost retired from all cycling and got the full-time work gig. So he's very busy counting numbers for, I think it's KPMG. So I don't know where he's going to get an early mark on Tuesdays.
And there's some of these B graders that, for instance, Liam Kelly they could ride A grade, couldn't they?
Well, you just don't know where Liam wants to ride these days. because last week he wanted to ride B grade, which is why he's in that list. There's another name on that B grade list that stands out, and that's Josh Heffernan, because Josh is the defending winner of the Anthony Spurgeon Senior Memorial Race from last year. So it would be great to see Josh on the start line defending his title.
Okay, let's talk who's won this in the past, John. And there
you'd have to show me here we go. There's the full list. 27 years of history. So keep in mind, Crafty, that the Anthony Spurgeon Senior Memorial was a standalone race, usually held on a Sunday before Christmas, and none other than our very own, which everyone is fond of, is Dangers, Stu Dangerfield.
Yeah.
He must have ridden away from the entire field to win that. But impressively, bang, 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 in the three-peat is computer, Stu Campbell.
Honest as they come.
So, after Stu Campbell, we had winners from local winners, Andrew Pham, Roland Lang, famous name around the traps over the years, followed by Kevin Nichols in 2013. Then backed up by Scotty Curtis, one of the Crittos, Jono, Big Greg O'Brien from St. George. And then in 2019, I think it was 2019 was the first year we had it as part of the Tuesday night series. Rodrigo Nataro, a very impressive win that night, followed by Chris Ling, of course, who has now moved on to bigger and better things in A grade and the Warrnambool. And then, of course, last year, Josh Heffernan, who we hope is going to be back to defend his title.
So you've got an Olympic gold medalist, Kevin Nichols, and I'm pretty confident Stuart Dangerfield would have represented at Commonwealth Games at least.
Yeah, Commonwealth Games and World Championships.
Yeah, 100%. John, your Masters category, your name right at the top. Congratulations, as we said.
I signed out on it. That was perhaps my last win. There you go, 12 years ago. How many years ago was it?
It was about as popular as Robert Upton winning. Laurie Vines, what a class rider as well. Some big names there, mate. Well done.
Yeah, well, I just want to add that just to distinguish between these two winners lists is that when we first started the Joseph Sunde Memorial Race, of course, there were 3 races promoted on the Australia Day. There was a Masters race, a handicap, and the elite race. And it wasn't until about 2016, I think, that then, 2011, it became the standalone race. 2011, won by Liam Kelly.
I see. Okay, so, John, I'm just going to narrow it down. Let's go so that we can focus here on the Joseph Sunde. It's a big history, a massive history. Andrew McGee from the very famous McGee family, 3 McGee's sensational riders, and Andrew was a worthy winner in 1994.
Yeah, he certainly was. I think the whole family might have been down there for that. I can't remember. I certainly remember Tony Gaudry winning in 95. That was a big win for Caravello. And although Tony's name is still very familiar amongst the people who used to race, it's his wife's name, Tracy, who's now the more familiar name in sort of national and regional cycling circles. I remember 1996, Dark Horse, Christian Back, out of nowhere. That was a big surprise.
Yeah, not so much because he did come back from racing in Europe, and he was a classy rider.
Oh yeah, and continued to have quite impressive results after he won that race. But I just remember that particular year, no one really paid him much attention. But he certainly changed everybody's opinion.
Spurge had to have his name on here.
Of course, he would have been second and third a few times in those results.
Yep, and all these riders is from my era. I remember racing Tony Gaudry so many times. He was such a strong time trial as well. Matt White, I grew up racing Matt White. Here he is in 98 as a Amor Vita rider, the Italian team. Love of life.
Just a little story. When Matt White won, he turned up to that race on Australia Day. I think it might have been a midweek day. I can't remember. It was a holiday. Came over, did the race, packed his bike straight to the airport to go to Italy.
Priorities. He had to be at Heffron Park. I love it. Keep going with 99.
So Dorso, Dorso, and the whole New South Wales pursuit team, which included Steve Woolridge, RIP, Brett Dutton, who else? The name should come to me. They were very hard to beat, those guys.
Probably Rodney McGee and Bradley McGee were both. Yep. And
Dangers again in 2000, rode away from the entire field, which was about the only way he could ever win anything. But once he went, it was very hard to pull back.
A very popular win in 2001.
So Yenzi, big Yenzi. So it wasn't uncommon. You got to remember that when guys like Dangerfield were winning at Heffron in 2000, they weren't living here. They used to come out to Australia for the summer. And Jens Mouris was a regular visitor for years and years, usually staying at Millsey's house and causing havoc over in the inner west or wherever Millsey lived at the time. When you see their names on the list, it was because they were out here from Europe and just loved the race, loved to race.
Hoppy wins.
Certainly were. Hoppy, that was the first of two, I think. Two. He was with Jittery Joe's, I'm pretty sure. Once again, Hoppy winning he was racing in America, back here for summer. And I think him and Willow were both on the same team over that time period for Jittery Joe's.
Yeah, Willow was actually racing in Italy prior in 2001-2 era. Then Jeff Hopkins went over. They joined forces a little bit later on. We'll talk about that. Let's go to Graham Moffat, 2003. Strong rider.
Well, Moffat and I still joke that this was perhaps his greatest victory ever. I don't know whether he still agrees with that, but isn't it amazing all those years that Moff was in Sydney and worked at Clarence Street Cyclery, then went on to work for Trek, and is now, of course, the country manager or general manager for Pond Bikes. I can tell you that the Cervelos that you see down at Heffron in A grade these days, Moff's had a big hand in those sales.
The Man Mountain, Troy Glennon.
Yeah, he was always going to win it one year, and he certainly did. Unstoppable, strong, most probably one of the strongest guys ever to turn up at Heffron.
CJ Sutton, 2005, then the development team for FDJ.
That's right. In fact, he rode in the FDJ development team colours, and I remember Brad McGee coming down to watch that race that day.
Yeah, who was the Australian sponsor. It was really nice era. Yeah. Hoppy gets it this time for Jittery Joe's. Then we get Sean Higginson back from junior. Well, this guy was strong riding for the AIS.
He was. During that period, Higo was on fire. Part of the South Australian AIS road development team, and big victory for Higo, and he was very happy about that win.
An emotional win from Trent Wilson. He had Troy Glennon in the break, and he just kept on hitting him until he got away and won solo.
He did, and Willow still talks about how much he wanted to win that race.
Yeah, look,
and he finally did.
And I think he wanted it out of respect for the Sunde family. I think it was so important to him.
Yeah, and Willow and I, we go, and Carl and the whole family, in fact, we all go back a long way. Been around cycling in Sydney for many years, so it was a thrill to see him on the top step.
Robbie Cater, the former prince of Heffron Park, and then 2010.
Yeah, poor old Robbie Cater never quite made it to king status, did he?
Yeah, he was certainly a prolific winner, that's for sure. David Early, this year, that 2010, David Early winning it, there was some big hitters in that race.
Well, you could say that about 2010 and 2011 because both those wins, firstly by Dave Early in 2010 and then secondly by Liam Kelly in 2011, I think the field didn't take those riders seriously enough when they were up the road. And that's how they got away with the win.
Yeah, and amazingly, and again, not only was there great riders in 10 and 11, there was almost great fights. There was a lot of arguing going on in those years.
Yeah, who was going to chase, who wasn't going to chase. And I think that both Dave and Liam won both their titles in a similar fashion.
Phil Grenfell, look, a flash in the pan, but a flash that so many people had great hopes for. He was such a brilliant sprinter. He had a background in football. He was good.
Certainly was, and you're right about him being a very fast finisher. He was a prolific winner during that period at Heffron generally. Got a contract to go to America, and then things unfortunately started to unravel a little bit with him injury-wise, and then eventually he had to stop riding. But now he's forging his career at Macquarie Bank and helping Macquarie Bank make money.
Yeah, and they need it. Scott Law. It had to be a law. Had to be
almost had to be law in there somewhere. So that's almost 10 years ago, isn't it? Pretty close to it. That Scott won back. And the reason we got the shaded lines for 2014 and 15 is that we sort of transitioned the event from standalone on Australia Day and then incorporated it into the Tuesday night program. And bingo, who wins it in 2016? Brother Jackson.
Yeah, and Jackson was flying. He'd set a few Australian records in the individual pursuit and representing New South Wales, winning Australian medals on the track. Alex Naz, yippee-ki-yay, Naz. He was awesome and still is awesome.
Still is, just doesn't ride that much anymore.
Yeah.
Busy being a dad and being a bike shop owner.
Look,
how's work, Naz?
Hopefully we can see him as a bit of memories. Tristan Ward, I miss Tristan.
Well, Tristan, follow him on social media and see all the lawns that he mows. I think Tristan misses racing. Tristan's wheelies across the finish line and his Kubrick hat on the podium were always very interesting sight. Colourful character.
I think Tristan's the first Australian cyclist to do a shoey on the podium. And Tristan, I hope he's not doing wheelies as he's mowing the lawns because it doesn't leave an even. Okay, Credo, emotional wins with a Cridlin on there.
Oh, very, very much so. And very special wins by Credo. Known Credo since he was about 5. And when I first started riding and came to Sydney, one of the very first people I met was his father, Ken. And I raced with Ken a few times at Heffron, and I couldn't work out why he was always sitting at the back of the bunch. And would you believe, whatever genes that Ken has, he certainly passed them on to Luke and Jono. Well, not so much Jono, but certainly Luke's favourite spot, last wheel. But when it matters most, he can find his way to the front. And it's great to see Credo's name on that list. And the great thing about the whole Credo family is the support they still give cycling.
Yeah, look, it's when Luke won, it's a family photo. It's the Sunde family and the Cridlin family sitting on the back at Heffron. It should have a sticker on it saying, "Don't try this at home, kids." It's not easy. You've got to have some pretty decent skill. Gandhi wins last year. He was threatening to win something last year, and he made a big one out of it.
Oh, he certainly did. He was certainly outnumbered in the normal Tuesday night races with the ZCC contingent delivering Jack to the finish line. He was threatening, and then on the Joseph race, it all came together for him perfectly. And good win. And sorry Daniel's not riding so much anymore, that we're not going to see him back this year.
Yeah, not able to defend it. He might be able to jump back on the bike quickly and defend it. I don't think it's going to work out. I know we tried to make this shorter. I don't think we've succeeded.
No.
But
doing it in 2 segments.
I know. Names for the...
Still working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like Dr. Bob's.
What was that?
If you can win at Heffron.
Oh, you can win it anyway. Well, yeah, possibly. Or then someone else said the Heffron. What was it? The Heffron. No, I think it was Colin that said that. Heffron. Can't remember.
Okay. Into the Squircle had a lot of likes.
Yes. Yeah. I think we should work on it, Crafty.
I think we should work on it. Let's not resolve it this year. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Next season.
We could go bigger than Heffron, though. We could go beyond Heffron.
Yeah, tomorrow the world. John, it's been fantastic. Hope you've enjoyed today.
Certainly have, Crafty. Been a pleasure, and fingers crossed that we're standing on the sideline next Tuesday, 1st of March at 6 o'clock at Heffron Park.
Okay, see you next Tuesday.